So you said before about how obviously you're looking at the future of the company with Bray Wyatt, and it's very easy throughout his first few years to see the parallels with the Undertaker. The Undertaker's obviously lost his streak and so much of his mystique at WrestleMania 30. It seems like we are seeing the evolution of the Undertaker and Bray Wyatt, and in 2015 we get to see whether the torch is really going to be passed, because the two have a match at WrestleMania 31. Now it was in the Bay Area, wasn't it? It was very bright sunlight. I think it started at maybe 4 p.m.
Daytime, yeah. It was daytime.
So it's much like SummerSlam 1992 when they had to wait for it to get dark before the Undertaker to have his match.
Yeah.
We don't get there with WrestleMania 31, the two, because it just never really does get fully dark. Yeah. So they're kind of wrestling in this kind of dusk, but it's a match that needs to be really, really dark and have that atmosphere in the entrances. And so they're kind of there. A lot of the kind of drama of that match is cut off by setting, I think. I feel like that match would have had so much more power if it had not been done in a stadium show, but had been in a more intimate setting, or maybe even a cinematic setting for the first encounter. But we get WrestleMania 31, and much like year before, what happens to Bray?
Once again, dude has to lay down. I don't know why, but I think Undertaker did say, I think in an interview, that he felt good after this match. Like Bray helped him get his confidence back. But I don't know what, for me as a wrestling fan, things have to make sense. And things have to be like, what are we working towards? So what purpose? Are we really trying to build a new superstar who's been unstoppable for last 2 years? Or are we just feeding him to this guy who's on his way out? He's already lost his streak. I think the best thing they could have ever done, Bray to end Undertaker's streak, and then Undertaker retires. And that's the best way you pass the torch, because there was so many times they tried to pass the torch to Bray as he's the next Undertaker. We're always looking for the next Rock, next Stone Cold. He was there. You can't get any better than that. He's the next Undertaker. And even there was moments, I think there was an episode on Raw, if you remember, Undertaker whispers something in his ear. Okay, is this passing of the torch? Was that passing the torch? Well, when is that torch eventually going to get passed? Undertaker, why are you holding on to it, dude? Just do it. So again, what a waste of a match. I'm sorry. Great match, but no. Useless. Sorry.
The thing is, if the streak had still been on the line, it would have been fine, because the drama would have been there. So even if Bray had lost, it would have been fine, because he would have been one of 20 plus people losing to The Undertaker. But it was the fact that it came the year after, and already so much of The Undertaker's aura had gone. Just much like Triple H and Sting on that match, just a huge money match that was completely thrown away. Like, I feel like the build and what we could have had between Undertaker and Bray Wyatt, if it had been given 6 or 9 months to build to a payoff, could have been spectacular. Yeah. All the psychological warfare, all of the kind of tricks and bells and whistles that The Undertaker was so synonymous for, Kane was so synonymous for. I think they just could have really layered it and made it a much more, as we saw later with how good The Undertaker's match with AJ Styles was. Like, if they just actually managed the set and made it much more cinematic and playing to the strengths of them both at the time.
It's just going back to my point of Bray being in the wrong era of wrestling. Undertaker, one of the greatest storytellers, great mind games, what all we remember, even all the hokey stuff and craziness, but it worked because it was The Undertaker. He's the dead man. Can you imagine then Bray Wyatt, because he's the master of mind games, the things they could have done. It could have had some awesome build and this culmination. Even if then Undertaker had beaten him, if the streak had been alive and Undertaker had beaten him, okay, it made sense to me. But as you said, Undertaker had lost streak. Undertaker was only wrestling once a year at WrestleMania. He was only coming back once a year to defend his streak. Once that was gone, dude, why are you coming back? So we just come back to bury the new talent now. Is that what it is?
Yeah, and it's a curious one because you think what could have been in terms of like the different storylines, like whether the Undertaker becomes like almost like the higher power for the Wyatts. Like, does he come in and be part of that group? Does he try and is there a power struggle between him and Bray? Do the two of them become tag champions together and then implode? Like, it just feels like there's so much they could do. But again, this is Undertaker in 2015 when so much has been of the mystique has gone, and when you get the sense that he was also doubting himself at that time as well.